You're not gonna get a letter that says, congratulations, you passed the gender part of the exam of life. You're not gonna get a pin that says, these are your pronouns. Whenever you wear this pin, everybody around you will magically just respect your pronouns. It's not gonna happen. As cool as that would be, it's not gonna happen. Hello people who have wondrously stumbled upon this video. My name is Mickey, I am a slightly educated little mushroom, and I'm also non-binary. I use they, them pronouns, if you are not aware of this. My last video is in the description below. You should go watch that before you watch this, because this one kind of explains that one. So, I came out as something that not a lot of people know is a thing, and not a lot of people know how to, like, react to. So, this video is basically to in-depth explain what non-binary is with my identity specifically, as well as being non-binary as a whole. And it includes some, like, general knowledge of gender stuff. There's a few definitions of being non-binary in the Merriam-Webster dictionary specifically, but also many dictionaries in general. One of these include not restricted to two parts or things. The other one is, and I quote, relating to or being a person who identifies with or expresses a gender identity that is neither entirely male nor entirely female. So, that being said, what that means is the way some girls will feel completely attached to being female and everything feminine and feel 100% comfortable with being female all the time, whereas there's males that feel completely, like, masculine all the time. They're really comfortable with that gender identity. I do not feel pulled in either direction. I'm simply in the middle doing whatever it is I do. So this little thing right here is the genderbread person, and this is the best way that I have found to explain the difference between gender identity, gender expression, biological sex, and your sexual orientation, all wrapped up into one human being. So your gender identity is on top. That is what you think about yourself in your head and how you interpret yourself as to, like, what you think about yourself personally. That's all in your head. So they have woman over here, man over here, and they have genderqueer in the middle. So woman and man are usually two terms that pretty much everybody is familiar with, but genderqueer is that space in the middle that is neither pulled towards woman or pulled towards man. So genderqueer and non-binary are kind of two terms that go hand in hand. Your gender expression is everything on the outside. This is what other people see, rather also what you see, but mostly what other people see. It's how you act, it's how you dress, it is how you carry yourself through your life. It's basically what you let other people see and kind of judge you based on. Your gender expression can also change from day to day. So, say one day you're super cute, you're wearing like a dress or a skirt or flower crowns or stuff like that, you're like really feminine. The next day you're wearing your Vans, you're wearing your beanies, you're wearing like really baggy clothing. It's very flexible and it can change day to day. Your biological sex is the one that people want to combine your biological sex and your gender identity. These are where people like to combine things and say that gender and sex are the same thing, even though it has been proven several times through science that it's not the same thing. But the difference between biological sex and your gender identity is your biological sex are the parts that are down there. They're the parts that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's nobody's business except for you and whoever raised you. So your biological sex refers to your hormones, your chromosomes, what reproductive parts you have. But there are also more than two sexes. There's the female sex, the male sex. I did some extensive research on this, and there are actually 6 main most common sexes, which are the X chromosome, XX chromosome, XXY, XY, XYY, and XXXY. These are the most common, but there's also so many more than just those 6. So there's not really just 2 sexes. There are several. And finally, there's sexual orientation, which sometimes can fit into the gender identity scale, but not always. So your sexual orientation is who you're attracted to, which makes sense with your gender identity, but also it doesn't have to, because you can identify as something and be attracted to everyone and everything under the sun. So the few main ones are heterosexual and homosexual. Heterosexual being you are attracted to the opposite sex that you are. Homosexual is you are attracted to the same sex. Bisexual is you are attracted to both female and male. Pansexual is slightly different than bisexual, being you're attracted to male, female, and anything under the non-binary umbrella. Sometimes, for some people, it fits in with your gender identity, and for some people, they just don't care. They just like people. So I've used the term umbrella term when I was talking about sexual orientation and pansexuality. So an umbrella term is basically a word that explains a lot of things. So umbrella terms being non-binary, trans, gay, pansexual, they all have smaller parts under them, but they can also be used as an identity of itself. So me identifying as non-binary, I have a lot of smaller parts, like sometimes I still like feminine things, sometimes I still like masculine things, and sometimes I just kind of look like a weird little hipster. But it kind of differs between every non-binary person, every trans person, every person in general. We all have smaller parts to our personalities. Some of us have a label for it, and some of us don't. So going back to me and my identity specifically, I use they, them, their pronouns because they're neutral pronouns. They make me feel more comfortable because if somebody says he and they're referring to me, that doesn't make me comfortable because I'm not a guy, but if somebody says she, that doesn't make me comfortable because I'm not a girl. So I use they, them pronouns. I've been referred to as a Z, which is also grammatically correct, and I'm comfortable with that as well. I've also been looking into like pronouns of if I become a parent someday, when my siblings have kids, what will they call me? So I made a document when I explained my entire gender identity to my mom, and that's actually going to be at the top of the description below. Under that will be my last week's video, but this document explains everything. It's mostly for my identity specifically, but it also goes into general knowledge more in depth with what non-binary is, trans, it touches on asexual, touches on agender, it touches on a lot of things, and I'm actually really proud of it. It's 12 pages long, but everything makes sense in it, everything is super detailed. I have all of my sources at the bottom of everything that I got places for because I'm very careful with my sources and where I get information from. So everything is 100% valid, everything is good information. I actually got some of my information from Ash Hardell because they wrote an entire book called The ABCs of LGBTs, and it's amazing. I haven't read it, I want to read it so bad, but everything that they've read from it so far is just everything that I think people as a whole just need to understand about gender and sexuality. With me, I dress however I feel comfortable to dress that day. I cut my hair however I feel comfortable, however I want to cut my hair. The length of it, the color of it, it has nothing to do with my gender identity. It simply has to do with my self-expression, which can be my gender expression, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like being a human today. So I just do what makes me comfortable. I paint my nails almost constantly. I've been really fond of chokers. I really like beanies, but also I cut my hair and I dye it blue, and it's not entirely short, but it does what it wants. So basically the rules of being non-binary are there are no rules of being non-binary. You identify, you be comfortable with however, whatever you want to be comfortable with being. You're not gonna get a letter that says congratulations, you passed the gender part of the exam of life. You're not gonna get a pin that says these are your pronouns. Whenever you wear this pin, everybody around you will magically just respect your pronouns. It's not gonna happen. As cool as that would be, it's not gonna happen. So basically, live your life how you want. Identify as what you want, wear what you want, do what you want. Gender is a myth anyway. We're all on a planet in space that's like on a rock that's just, we're not, This video was a little bit longer than I anticipated it to be, but also it's full of a lot of information. Go check out Ash Hardell's channel. They talk about so many things in the community all the time. They're where I learned most of this, them and Miles McKenna, who I got to see. He gave me a lot of confidence for me to be me. There's so many opportunities with YouTube and like YouTubers in the community and outside of the community that are just trying to educate people, and I really want to be one of them. So I hope this educated you a little bit. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, feel free to add me on anything, ask me things. I try to educate myself as much as possible, especially with things that I identify and I believe in. So yeah, that is all I have for this week. Until I see you again next time, keep smiling. I just want it to be known that I cut my hair and I shaved my head. So it's all bald. It's all short. I dyed it again. It's a mess. It's short. But I am like living for this. Like, I've been obsessed with my hair since I shaved it. Like, before I shaved my head, I was like, guys, I'm shaving my head. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's all.